Okay, so we're here with Eric Swain, Troy Burnett, and Miles Kane. So you guys were all involved in Journey to Planet X, which is one of our favorite documentaries. Miles Kane, you co-directed.
Yeah, I co-directed it with my filmmaking partner, Josh Corey. So we finished that in 2012. Right? Yeah. We premiered it at Tribeca, I think, in
early 2012.
That's great. And Troy and Eric, you guys are the, would you say stars or the I just say star of, Journey to Planet X? I mean, is that part of the subject matter? Certainly.
You see a lot of us in it.
Yeah, part of the subject matter.
I think in this case, I think general documentary terminology, you'd say subjects, but I think in this case they are the stars.
Royal subjects.
Yeah, So okay, so now you guys are down in Florida making your sci-fi films, right? And then, Miles, how did you guys meet? How did this come to be? Where you're like, I need to document what these guys are doing.
Yeah, I've told this story a lot at various film festivals because people are always curious, and I can sort of do a condensed version. Basically, my film partner Josh and I co-founded a film festival in Brooklyn called the Brooklyn Underground Film Festival, which ran from 2002 to 2006. It was sort of underground indie cinema at a time right before YouTube and everything. It was sort of like still the time when underground film fests were the thing. And we got lots of submissions our first year, mostly of experimental, edgy documentary and dark fiction films. And then we got this mysterious tape from Florida called A Brief Spell, which was this medieval fantasy just.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I've seen clips from that because that's actually in the documentary.
Yeah, there's clips from that. And so we that's what we originally saw, and it was it sort of transfixed us. I mean, it was very amateur in a sense, but also like it was intriguing because you see a lot of bad films when you're programming a film festival, amateur films that aren't professional, quote unquote, that you just want to throw in the garbage and never watch again. And in this case, it was the exact opposite. It was this film where you watching it, you said, I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
I'm laughing with it. I'm enjoying it. I also want to know who are the guys who are putting, because there's so much love.
Oh yeah.
And dedication in the making of it. So we did reject the film the first year, I think, just because we were kind of really trying to portray this underground cinema program. But the next year we decided to showcase their work, sort of as outsider art, outsider cinema from beyond. And they actually came up from Miami, and that was sort of our true introduction to them. And we ended up showing another one of their films, Longevity, and we were like their biggest supporters. And we'd invite all our friends from Brooklyn, and everyone would come have some beers and just freak out watching these awesome sci-fi movies. And then whatever that was, maybe 6 years later, Josh and I had always said, if we ever get a chance, it would be awesome to make a documentary, American movie-esque, if you know that documentary.
I love that
which is
documentary.
One of my favorites,
Yeah.
and one of his favorites. But we thought different enough too, and I also felt that we were the only two people who could have made the documentary, as opposed to people who didn't know them. But we had this sort of 10-year relationship and understanding of their work and appreciation. So we spent the next 2 years making this movie, and that's where we really got to, I think, formed a friendship, and also just we had a lot of fun shooting that. So.
When Troy told me that Miles and Josh were interested in doing a documentary, when I first heard it, I thought we were going to be a little part of a documentary, that they were doing some bigger documentary, and they were going to come down and do a section on us. Similar to, I had seen some of their previous really good documentary, We Are Wizards, and they went around to different Harry Potter fans. So I thought we were going to be one little bit. So I was shocked when Troy says, no, they're going to come down, just keep coming down and filming our whole process. That's going to be the whole movie.
Wow. Did it take you guys a bit to warm up to it? I mean, was there a point where you almost, it was second nature, and I don't want to say you didn't notice the cameras. You're probably always going to notice the cameras, and it was on weekends, right? Or elongated weekends?
For the most part.
Most part, yes. We're certainly working during the weeks. So yeah, we mostly worked on the weekend. It did, yes. I think it becomes more natural as you go. Obviously, we weren't used to being filmed while we were filming. It's a totally different viewpoint. When we look at the documentary, it's odd to see us from that viewpoint. But we did get used to it as we went, and it did become a lot more natural and expected. We had kind of developed kind of a filming routine.
And I think, I was thinking of this story of, well, one, our film is a lot about how different Troy and Eric are from each other and sort of how they complement each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yin and yang in a way. And so I think right off the bat, Troy, being sort of a natural promoter and more of a spokesperson, was totally up for us coming down and almost thirsty for it. So he was game from the beginning, I think. But Eric, I think, took him a lot longer to warm up, which I totally understand. I can't imagine what it feel like. But I remember the first time we met with them, we flew down, my partner Josh and I, knowing probably going to be 2 years of filming with these guys. And Eric said, as we were finishing up the weekend, he said, well, I think you've probably got enough stuff, so thanks for coming down. Yeah. And we both took a deep breath and said, I was like, my God, he has no idea.
That's what I thought it was going to be, a little clip, yes.
He wanted to get rid of us. He was like, sayonara, guys, thanks for coming down. And we're like, this is only the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's back when I thought we were just going to be a little footnote.
Yeah.
But by the end, he was both of them opened up, and also Eric, certainly, I think even in the film you see as he sort of grows as a filmmaker and faces some of his fears, he also is able to express that on camera more and more as the film goes. So yeah, it was a learning process and a real process of growth for these two guys and for myself and my film partner. We also learned a lot making it. So.
When you were down there for the weekend and you shoot this thing, was it almost where you sort of like, you said you were like, oh man, we're going to be doing this for a couple of years. Was it sort of like we hit gold, and then were you sort of like slightly overwhelmed? Like, oh man, this is going to be a couple of years because these guys are so interesting.
No, we were prepared for that. We the more access we could get. I mean, we were both like kids in a candy shop. Like I remember, for us, it had been 10 years of sort of fan-like obsession. We'd probably seen their films 100 times, showed them to our friends, and had parties where we'd watch it. So I remember the first time I went down. I mean, we had all met in person and talked before, but I was almost a little starstruck. and I remember the first weekend, us shooting with them in their, at that time it was a blue room where they were doing some chroma keying, and I just remember like looking over at Josh. We were both shooting and just kind of mouthing like, oh my God, like I can't believe we're actually filming this, because it was just the perfect. It was the exact film we wanted to make and the exact subjects we wanted to make.
That's so cool. I felt the same way. I finished watching Journey to Planet X, and I was like, oh man, I love that. You know, these guys. I feel like I was like, I'm kind of like these guys. I make movies, you know. And then we got even the Skype thing. I was nerding out. I was like, awesome, man. You know, so I totally get it. But you guys have done a bunch of films, and I want to talk about, because I don't want to miss talking about how many films have you guys directed together?
If you count even short films, and we've done really short films, so we've probably done a dozen counting shorts. Mm-hmm. If you want to count what we consider full films, we did a, nearing an hour, what we consider full. We did A Brief Spell, which we were already talking about, Longevity, which also showed, we finished that about 2005. And then we did Planet X, starting, as you saw, filming and through 2011.
Don't forget the assets of Planet X that we made with it, the music videos.
Right, and of course music videos, which count as extras on that. We did two music videos based on that. But so yes, I mean, we've done the three big ones, a bunch of small ones. Planet X was really very different for us, not only because they did a documentary, but we were using new equipment, new techniques. We learned a lot through that, and I think that's reflected in the documentary a lot.
Yeah.
Seriously, we had the new camera.
It was great to see that progress. That just the progression is really cool.
As we learned and techniques and a lot of little techniques we learned, the special effects, the filming site. So that really was kind of a groundbreaker.
Putting together a score.
Yeah,
We put together an original score.
instead of stealing music. Yes, we actually had a score.
Yeah, it's from Scott Opelia, and we had two other artists, Maris Moon and Rita Ritvan, which is all part of the soundtrack, the Planeta Desconocido soundtrack. Oh, on iTunes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on. Oh, the soundtrack's on it. Oh, cool. Well, I wanna talk about Temple of Joy because that's your newest one, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are mid shooting. Is that how you describe it, or?
It's after we have a draft of some material that was shot, and that material we don't include all of the other stuff that we've shot in that draft. We were just showing it to Miles today, just to
Yeah, I was
show
on
him.
Most of like a first act.
Yeah,
And including shots, filming locations actually in Spain and in South Florida.
yeah. And you can't really tell the difference between the two places.
Well,
Really?
we tried to blend them, and so anyways, that's underway. We are looking to extend it quite a bit beyond what we've shot.
There's a lot more.
The costs involved, we're really coming up against, and we also came against this in Planet X, but it's even more apparent now. The actual costs, I mean, even if you have a low budget film, I mean, there are low budget films, $50,000,
and we're seeing this for obvious reasons.
and so you realize there's lots of things that do cost money, and we've tried to get by on much less than that. And if we want to do some of the stuff and use some of the locations we want, it costs money. So we're kind of at the point here where we're actually trying to do a calculus, which we've never really done before. What really can we expect to do with the budget we have? What sites can we use? What can we do and what we can't do?
Yeah, and as well as how much would it take to really do what we had planned to do, what's written up. So the several locations that we've visited and we've requested, access to the property, and they turn around and send us an invoice. This is what it's going to cost you, $1,500 a day per room, and there's 5 rooms. Or it's a whole building and they want $2,500 for the whole building. One guy wanted $5,000, and the building didn't even have walls. We'd have to put walls and furniture and lighting, electricity,
So
AC. It's been a mess.
If someone wanted to inquire about investing in your film, do you have a Facebook page they can reach out to you at, or website?
Oh, sure. That would be, if you go to templeofjoythemovie.com, it's going to take you to our last Kickstarter page, which has loads of content.
Yeah, I saw that video. It's a great, great
yeah,
fundraising.
and all you have to do is just do a Google on, Google us, and it'll take you directly to us. It's easy to contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever.
So Temple Joy, that's time travel. It's sci-fi.
It's a sci-fi time travel film about these two scientists who get recruited into sort of like a state-run military program, and we're part of this Black Ops Temporal Operations Program, which is designed to protect the history of the Earth, because the human's history appears to be getting altered. Someone's trying to alter it, and it's actually an alien force is trying to alter it for their own good. These aliens called Ablavians, and we've
allowed
made
us
a couple of scenes.
It allowed us, from my point of view, the original idea. I mean, you could, discussing some of the earlier films like A Brief Spell. It's interesting to do the ancient time or medieval time theme, but we also enjoyed the futuristic, so we can kind of throw it all together in one film. It's good for us.
It sounds cool.
Four different time periods.
Does it have the same sort of fun camp to it? Is it in the same vein as a lot of the Frozen Moon and some of the other shorts?
I would say it probably will, because of the mere fact that we're doing this together.
Yeah, 'cause you guys had said you got
and we try to keep that. We try to keep that feel to it. We realize as we go that sometimes you can get too serious, especially when you're working on a limited budget, because what really a very limited budget movie, probably what really does it. You're not gonna jar people with amazing special effects like a major motion picture. That's just not going to happen. But when people, so really what gets people is, yes, this was done. There's a certain amount of innovativeness in it, and it was done for a very low budget. And that excitement in itself is really what's going to have to sell the film.
To me, that's always more interesting, and you guys, it just looks like you guys have so much fun on your film.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
And yeah, I just so I think it's great. But
it's hilarious.
I'll say the preview that I was lucky enough to see today. I guess I don't know. We want to call it the first act, but this sort of opening sequence that takes place sort of in part of the ancient past was very cool to see. It definitely another step forward from Planet X, A Frozen Moon, and some really good action sequences. One of the main things I was telling them stylistically is just they've got a lot more handheld camera work going on, which adds like this whole new dimension, which is in most of their older work it's pretty classic kind of tripod set, mainly because of lack of help, or just also you guys were trying to do your compositing
on the green screen. On the green screen we didn't have
you guys
motion tracking cameras.
Took advantage of it's mostly all real locations, so but then there's still laser effects and gunfights, so it looks very cool with a handheld camera. It just helps kind of sew in that feeling of realism. So I thought it looked really great, and some good fight scenes and everything you've come to expect from a Ganunga film production.
Well, I think that's part of it. I mean, a part of it is, again, being a low budget film. Part of it is like when you're a kid and you go out and play Army. The fun you had doing that. It's nice to retain some of that and put in a little bit higher, higher tech into it. So the viewer can. I know I've enjoyed films kind of almost with the same emotions. When you can see the producer enjoy just putting this together in almost a playful fashion.
Yeah, and with Temple of Joy, we actually have more people. We have a bigger crew now with Temple of Joy. We've got Eduardo Figueroa. He's our DP, and we had some interns as well.
Have you found that you've gained more? Obviously, you have a pretty big fan base now, and I mean, have people climbed aboard now that they see that you guys are doing some bigger stuff?
People are still volunteering. People are asking to be on board.
That's great.
They want to help out at any capacity. We don't. Of course, it's great to have people work for free, but I don't expect people to work for free.
Right.
Here's a few bucks for your time, for the day, for the gas. That's the way I see it. I don't want people to work for free. Planet X. Almost everybody worked for free, even though. We gave a few bucks for gasoline or something for their time.
We've got to continue to spread the word, though. I mean, in terms of the fan base, you guys definitely have gained some. I think, hopefully, from the documentary. That was our one, if nothing else, success for our film aside was get Troy and Eric famous.
Well, I think that doc is a.
It just, I will say, as a quick plug, not really for me, but. The film now is on Netflix, which is nice because it is on Epix as well, which is a cable channel, but they've now put it on Netflix, which is just great because no one has Epix. A lot of people don't have it. Netflix, everyone has.
Oh, yeah.
So I just, even in my own life, a lot of people who had always said, hey, how can I see your doc, have seen it. And I know you guys have been able to get just a lot more eyes on your story.
Yeah, I just, day before yesterday, I got on YouTube message. I just saw the documentary on Netflix, and how do I see some of the earlier films, like A Brief Spell, and so I could get back. So yes, it definitely...
People are contacting us.
And they can watch all of those. What's the best place for them to watch your films? Should they buy the DVD, or which
you mean Planet X?
Yeah.
Just go to planetxthemovie.com.
But the older...
Or Planeta Desconocido.
You're asking about the older work, too?
Yeah,
the older ones, you go to Ganunga Gap Filmworks and we're selling the DVD.
Oh, nice.
Or you can buy a double set. Somebody bought it. They bought one the other day. And
is there a title to that, or is it just best of, or it's just,
well, it's a brief spell.
Well, yeah, we just
or
have two.
Longevity. And you can buy them either separate or together.
Also, you guys have the YouTube channel, which I know you're not charging for, but for some of
some of the short films,
your older short films, which are much simpler but also fun. Once you're a fan, I think the fun thing is to kind of suddenly realize there's this whole little universe they've created, and it's like you can just keep digging, and it gets more and more fun as you go.
And you're going back in time too.
Yes,
you're going back in time when you look at the old stuff.
You get to see the more primitive filmmaking.
Yeah,
and costumes.
the old camera and the compositing back when we didn't have high def. Where it was
there was always a
fuzzy around the
ghostly
edge.
glow around everyone,
which was good for magical stories. Everybody had kind of a halo around them because the compositing was kind of
it was sort of your style. I always thought it was the Eric Swain
to give you a couple examples, I really think we're on the right track. We're still on the right track. I think we haven't left the right track. We're doing a good job because every week I have a few dozen people adding me to their Google Plus. I don't know any of these people.
Oh, that's great.
And they're just adding me. In addition, since we have been working on this film festival, we're also making little tiny video clips. One of them is called The Landing Party, and it's about Star Trek type of stuff. So we're dressed up in Star Trek uniform, and you've got a communicator. I actually have one with me here today.
You might want to explain. I don't know if you brought up the film festival yet.
I definitely want to get into that. So you guys are the creators of the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. So this, right? I mean, you guys are the guys, right? Or
that's right.
Yeah,
and our
Ed Figueroa.
Ed Figueroa is the third member who's joined in, who had been working on helping us out with the other films. Had a little part. Ed had a little part in Planet X. He was killed pretty quickly in that film, but he did have a part. But he's been a great help. His skill in the camera and being a DP and everything is fantastic. And so he's the third member in this film festival.
That's great. And are submissions open? When's the festival happen?
Submissions are open. The festival occurs January 17th through 19th, 2014, Friday through Sunday. I guess submissions are officially open till December 22nd.
Mid-December.
Mid-December. We're not going to get right to it. We want to notify early enough for people to, if they want to attend, to arrange to attend.
Great. And the website for that is
miscifi.com. That's MISCIFI.com.
Okay, and we'll post a link to that website and also your other websites. Yeah.
From there, you'll see if anyone wants to submit, because it's not just science fiction. It's horror, it's fantasy films, animation, sci-fi.
In fact, we thought it's really fantastic films.
We call it just fantastic.
It covers the whole genre of stuff that's kind of out of this world.
Is it shorts and features? Or is it
shorts, features.
Great.
And we also have something called the microdoc. The microdoc, these are scientific or any kind of innovative film that's under 30 minutes. And we have a section in the festival where that will be free for the community to come in and check out some really interesting research. Because there's some nice stuff that's being submitted that I'm like, wow, this looks great. Really nice programming that we're looking forward to letting the community indulge in.
So what led you guys to actually create this festival? I mean, what was the motivation behind it? Were you guys like, there's like a lack of this kind of festival, like in the Florida area or just in general? Or
Well, we've always wanted to, we love to watch old science fiction as well as a lot of the new stuff. And it's not just watch it by ourselves. We like to watch it with friends and have discussion, debate, discourse and stuff.
Nitpick.
Eric loves the nitpick stuff.
But in fun.
What if? Yeah. And so what happened was, after going to some of the absolute best festivals on the planet,
because you guys they traveled with our film Journey to Planet X, which had a great run in 2012.
Unbelievable!
All the big ones,
that was a lot of fun.
International run. So, and they were able to come to a lot of them. So you guys have had your share of film festivals in the last 2 years.
It was 23 festivals in 2 years.
Yeah, well, I think you told some stories of just about how people come up to you and almost like they know you, and it's like kind of a weird experience.
Strange. I thought the biggest example of that, the Traverse City Film Festival because it was a very small. It's got a small town in Michigan.
It's the Michael Moore Film.
Yeah, it's
Michael
Michael Moore's Film
Moore's-
Festival.
Oh, really?
He
Yeah.
runs it. It's like an invite.
And,
It's invite only.
fest. But
and it's such a small town that it's a small town that everybody seems to know you after you've been in a film. So you walk through the
Yeah.
streets and everybody, it's kind of mind overload type thing. It's that is, all the festivals have been quite an experience. We obviously each one of us hasn't been able to go to every one. We've been to a number of them together. Sometimes one or two of us is able to go between Miles and Josh and Troy and me. We try to make sure it's represented to answer questions. So that's been quite an experience.
Yeah, and another example with Traverse City, I think it screened only twice there. Yeah. And of the 2 times it screened, the first night was 600 people, full theater. Wow. And the second time was at another, they actually got a larger theater, and it was 800 people.
Wow.
And I was blown away. Yeah, they packed
one
it.
of our biggest screenings.
Yeah, that was.
On the festival circuit, was this the kind of thing? I mean, obviously you're shooting the doc and you're like, we got it. This stuff's great. You finish it. Now you've been doing docs for a long time and films for a long time. Is this? Are you finish the film? You're submitting like any person off the street, and you get into Tribeca, or I mean, have you just been part of the film community for so long, or?
You're asking sort of, did we have any leg up getting into Tribeca, or?
I guess have you been there? Have you been in larger festivals before? Was it less of
with We Are Wizards, the film we made in 2008 that Josh directed and I had shot and edited with him. That premiered at South by Southwest. No real connection to Tribeca, but we had a little bit of a track record. But no, that's the scary thing that even our film addresses on a much smaller scale with Troy and Eric going through it. It's like this universal thing that every filmmaker goes through, big or small. You make a film, you finish it, and then you're just like, please God, somebody accept this. It's all, you just want it to be, you want to be accepted, but ultimately you want people to see your work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So no, I mean, Josh has been part of the film festival community. He was a film programmer at various film festivals, so he did know some people. If anything, maybe we got some. We at least knew some people gave the film a watch, which actually I think every film festival, it might be like an intern screener.
Yeah.
But eyes do get on every film. There's no. I mean, there might be some scam festivals out there, but any semi-legit one, your film is going to get watched.
Oh yeah. Sometimes by multiple people even. Yeah. So,
but it was nice to know that it was going to get a kind of a proper watch. But then it was just nail biting until we got the call, and it was like, we're in, and that was
incredible. Wow.
It was really a great way to kick it off for us because that put us on Michael Moore's map. He saw it at Tribeca.
He saw it at Tribeca.
Wow.
We got invited to Sitges Fantastic Fest in Spain, which these guys came with us.
That must have been nice though, because you've been a New Yorker for forever.
16 years. Yeah.
16 years. To get into Tribeca, right? It's like the city sort of embraces you in a way.
It was awesome actually because, again, I mentioned we used to run a film festival. We actually started our Brooklyn Underground right around the same time Tribeca started, 2002.
Oh, I remember Brooklyn
because
Underground.
the whole and we were very like sort of we had kind of chips on our shoulders. We were all 22 or something. We were like, we're making a film festival for the people, but with real work,
real indies, underground,
real indies, and then Tribeca. The first couple of years, it was like, I remember. I mean, it was fine, but the whole sort of thing of that the festival was created to ease the downtown economy after the World Trade Center thing. It was just kind of like. I felt like they were pushing. I was very cynical for a few years early on, and I remember the opening night film. I think the first year of Tribeca, the opening night gala was some Olsen twins movie. I was like, this festival.
The West was fun. That's what it was.
Yeah. and they were just suddenly stealing all our press. So I just had this, stupid, jaded thing. So I was like, oh, Tribeca, whatever. But when we got in, I got over that. But also, even before, I was like, okay. I mean, because they've really developed into a top tier festival.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They're
now.
right there, up there with at Sundance, South by, Tribeca.
Well, they still they almost retain this whatever inherent New York integrity. You know what I mean? It's still like this East Coast West Coast thing.
They're the only festival in New York. I mean, there's other small festivals, but let's face it, the New York Film Festival doesn't count. Not for anyone unless you're Woody Allen or some famous. It's not like you can just submit a film to that.
Yeah, it's almost like an
Lincoln
extension
Center.
of a studio system.
Yeah, I mean it's a great program. But so for us, it was awesome to have a hometown screening. All of our people were here and our friends and family, and so that was cool. And then also what we hadn't really factored in was the industry is here.
Yeah.
Like when we were in South by Southwest, of course the industry's out there, but it's just parties and people are sort of like, here it was like within a few days we had sales agents calling us, and it was like,
really,
Tribeca is very like, people are looking to
very visible,
looking for
it's
distribution.
pretty serious, yeah.
And we were able to get some interest off the bat with that, and which was great.
How many interviews? There was a lot of interviews.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of interviews.
They even if you don't have you don't have your own press agent. If you're not a big, the Tribeca in-house press department is amazing. We had basically our own press person, got us on local news
TV.
with
You
like
and
Chuck Scarborough and.
Yeah,
They were
That's
just
incredible.
setting up interviews and
Makes sense.
they pushed it
for their own benefit.
It's for their own benefit.
It is, yeah.
Anyways, I'm going on, but that was
No, I mean
Tribeca was awesome, and and then since then the next year, last year, actually no, what is it? 2013. We just premiered a short this past spring at Tribeca. Short doc.
Oh wow! What was that called?
It's called "We Will Live Again." It's not out anywhere. I mean, it's had a great festival run, but it's a 10-minute short. So distribution, we're looking at maybe just putting up on Vimeo or it's kind of shorts and distribution is tough. But it's a short about cryonics, the freezing of people.
Oh wow!
That's
cool.
So it's like a short doc about this one place that
Does
does
it
it.
feature Walt Disney, or was that an urban legend?
That's an urban legend. It actually is. I know. It's a perfect urban legend because it sounds like something he'd do. You're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He would
But
freeze his head.
but to follow up on that, Thomas, that was that experience through these awesome festivals. Even prior to us getting into Tribeca, we were in 3 festivals. We won Best Florida Film at the Geek Film Festival.
This is your film,
Planet X, Planeta Desconocido. At the time, that was the only title that we were running at the time. And we were at Lucerne International Film Festival in their showcase. And it screened 3 times. People, and the room was full with people. They loved it. The Swiss love science fiction.
Yeah.
And then we were at New York at the Zero Budget Film Festival. That's, what's the guy's name? Hubin?
Richard
Hubin.
Yes.
Richard Hubin's festival, which was real fun.
got to attend that, and
We got a lot of buzz. People. Initially, it was empty, but once Larry and these guys started shooting everybody up in the film, place filled up.
That must be nice.
So
that was a fun
that
festival.
Flyaway Film Festival, Traverse City, Sitges, you name it. There were so many festivals that we went to that we were like, you know what, we could probably do something like because this doesn't exist in Florida. There needs to be a sci-fi, a fantastic film outlet for Florida. Why not? It's one of the global hubs of the planet. It's one of the huge cities of the planet, and it's growing every year. Something bigger and better is going on.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. So yeah, I just wanted to say again, Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival submissions are open, and I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's where the world goes to go on vacation.
Yeah, January is real nice.
And we get submissions from all over the world.
All over the planet.
We have some local. We have some other countries, Brazil,
Everywhere.
India,
Everywhere. Places I've never even heard of.
Yeah, where they're doing science fiction, and so it's kind of a nice global hub in Miami to kind of feature all these things.
I'm in full support of it as long as it doesn't get in the way of your own filmmaking.
Yes,
No.
and we have to watch that.
Let's keep our priorities straight. Because they ask me, any advice, I'm like, film festivals are a lot of work. Because I ran one for 4 years and I loved it, but we ended up stopping it because we couldn't.
Yeah,
My friend and I, we couldn't. Our dream was half a year run a film festival, half a year make films, but it's more like 9 to 10 months run a festival, 2 months sleep and take a break and start over. And you just kind of start, But you guys have it worked out, and you've been making it look easy so far. So and you're having fun. The key is have fun with it too. Because,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
if you're not having fun with it, it's like come on.
It really is. And the enjoyment of it has to go on, and we really have enjoyed.
And you'll meet other filmmakers too.
Yes, I think. In
That's
fact,
key.
I think for us personally, just meeting the filmmakers of all these films, short films, and some feature length, is got to be a positive experience. Even watching their films and discussing with them how they put it together. I mean,
it's a sense of community. That's always what every good festival has. Is we always say, like, if a festival has a good festival lounge, some festivals are just spread out.
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
screenings, but the best ones are when they have like a kind of a filmmakers lounge or a place where it's kind of filmmakers only.
It's a
You all go,
celebration.
and every day you see the same people, and you get to know all these people. And then, depending, this on our run with Journey to Planet X, every festival we see the same people. They're all doing the circuit, and you meet some new people. So
Yeah, that's what happened after Tribeca. We went to Little Rock, and Little Rock is an awesome place to have a festival. Those guys.
well, they put a lot of work into that.
Yeah,
festival.
the whole state showed up for that. Wow. The governor's cabinet was there. A lot of the film commission there's a lot of support for the Arkansas Film Commission. There's some amazing film that was there, and it was a celebration of the filmmaker. There were parties every night. I think we were there for five days. There's parties every day.
and they flew you guys out.
Yeah,
Like,
flew us out.
Well, they flew us
We didn't
out,
go,
gave us a
actually.
hotel.
That's
Yeah,
huge. Hotel, limo.
Well, some of the festivals I thought did a pretty smart thing, where they would they would program our film and then kind of inquire about showing showing Planet X as sort of a
That's
kicker
brilliant.
afterwards. Which of course anyone who just finished watching that is like, hell
See
yeah!
what came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought that was a smart programming thing, and it was fun too because then it was even more of a reason for these guys to come and really be part of it. So.
So,
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a good couple of years with these guys.
so are you guys, you're selecting the movie, so are you guys screening everything? And is it really hard to, like, decide this stuff is what I want? Or, how is that? And do you guys find it tough to, like, select,
Well, yeah,
filmmakers?
I think you have to work out criteria.
Yeah.
Specific criteria you're going to follow. If there's going to be three of us making the decision, Troy and me and Ed, and we've kind of worked out a spreadsheet, what criteria we're going to use. There's always going to be personal, feelings and light. There'll be one film, I just really dig this film, the way it was put together, the scheme. And sometimes it's hard to even put that into words or quantify, okay, well, what I really like is the visuals, or what I really like is the concept, or what I really like is the acting. But we try to quantify it as best we can and kind of come to a consensus on...
We have a Rubik's. Basically, all of us watch the films, and we're all a bunch of scientists. Ed, Eric, myself. So we have a spreadsheet, and we just add the numbers in on where we rank it, and it'll give a total score.
Wow.
So
yeah, we are scoring them, and on a whole variety. And Ed did a lot of that, working out the different categories.
Based on
visual
various
stuff.
categories: cinematography, sound, editing. It's about 10 different attributes that are looked at. And
So
But
you're making it fair through math.
Yeah.
Right.
that's the ultimate language.
Trying to make it as objective as we can with our subjective judgments. So, but yeah, we've been really impressed with a lot of the films that have been sent to us.
Oh yeah.
In your lives, is it fairly easy for you guys to strike a balance between your filmmaking and your home life? And I mean, like as a filmmaker, I'm at a point where I'm like, the last movie I did, I kept telling myself I need to have fun on the set, because if I don't know how I can keep doing this, you know. And you guys are like, oh, we have fun, but I'm just wondering, is it always fun? Is it just sometimes it's a struggle, or you know, what's it like?
Well, you know, when you're producing fantastic film, you are trying to emulate something that probably doesn't exist. So there's a lot of make believe, make pretend. You know, even if it's shot and live, you know, not in a green room or a green screen, you still have to make stuff up. So with that said, you know, we have to coach our cast, and that process of coaching the cast, speaking with the crew.
Yeah, sorry about the police car. Hopefully that's not for Dave.
They're not after us.
That's an ambulance. I can tell that.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry, go on.
So
this is in New York. This
Yeah, that's right.
authentic
This is
New
New
York,
York, right?
City podcast. Yeah.
So
on the street. Oh, okay.
you know, with that said, it's an experience, and sometimes things don't work the way you want, and you need to adjust. And that's where it helps to have, you know, an imagination and innovative mind, where, you know, it's not just one mind working, you've got multiple minds working, and we've got crew that are thinking about it. You know, a lot of our interns that we bring on board, you know, they're real innovative people, and they come up with ideas, and like, oh wow, that works. So you just give them a camera, and they're able to play second camera with you. So all of this stuff is appreciated, and it comes together so nicely. And we respect the craft enough to do enough takes. Because in the past we used to do like 1 or 2 takes, and that was the end of it. But now, it takes a longer, but we're seeing the benefit of the effort, and it comes out nice. It works, and everybody likes it. Everyone's happy with it. So, for me, I'm very busy with university, because I'm in university right now. I'm working my PhD. It's extremely challenging with this, and so at the same time, I have to devote the majority of my time to this. It's a good thing that I can go to sleep and think about, you know, my stories and how I want to do them, because it comes to me in my sleep how to do these things. So
Is that sort of your getaway for you guys?
It's a getaway.
It's like a
yes.
mental getaway.
It's a mental getaway.
Well, yes, it does balance
Yes.
a lot, and
Yes.
there is a balance there between our work, which tends to be very analytic and tedious, and being able to use other half of your brain, being more imaginative, imaging and such. And ideas come to us at all different times, listening to music and such. But and I think as far as balancing, you know, a lot of our films, especially older films, the people in it were also our friends, family, you know, comrades, and the people that we meet and start working with that were more trained actors. Also, you know, we get a rapport with them. We do have fun. They become friends as well. So, in a way, it's almost meeting. It's almost a social occasion, getting together and doing a shoot. I mean, we're trying to work and do accomplish a job, but also we're getting together with friends and having fun with this activity, which is fun. And so, it certainly started out long ago as something we did for fun with friends and family, and I think it still is something that we do fun with people we enjoy being with and socializing with.
Is that ever difficult too? Is that a phaser? Is that your cell phone?
Oh, this here?
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Oh,
Wow.
it's a Star Trek communicator.
Dude, that's incredible. Wow, I lost my train of thought looking at that gorgeous device. Do you think that you'll ever?
I'm sorry.
No,
It's ringing. It's ringing.
Wow, you're getting a communication from. Wow,
That's awesome.
that's pretty cool. So as far as using friends in your film, I do the same thing, and you know, over the years, I tend to use these stronger actors, but there is this. Do you guys ever struggle with the idea of wanting to use more trained actors versus your friends? You know what I mean?
Oh.
Do you ever have anyone?
Yeah, we
There's always that.
have a lot of trained actors in Temple of Joy, and it wouldn't even be us, but the fan base wants to see us.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
absolutely.
we wouldn't act in the film.
Yeah.
You know, we
We've
just
done
get
it.
some people.
Yeah, it's and trained actors that we've worked with, especially before on Planet X, we become our friends. So Yes, and so there is a balance there. There is a balance there between, and it's back to the question of what do you want to accomplish with the film? I mean, are we actually making a different genre than a big budget professional film? Are people going to want to watch this because it's the best imitation of a big budget film, or because it has its own flavor because it's not a big budget film? Yeah. And I think we have to balance that. Now, we've been pleased, people have been pleased with the advances in technology that we've done, making it, and what we've learned. So we want to keep that. And I think we continue to keep a balance between the two things, we want to make it quote, quote, professional, and we also want to have fun, and the people who are watching it have fun.
Now, so you guys are you got a ever growing fan base. I mean, Journey to Planet X was a pretty big doc. I mean, I told a bunch of friends about it, and now do you guys, like me and I'm in a similar situation. I work at a college and I make movies on the side, and I'm at a point where I don't even know if I want to make some huge film. It's not like I would refuse it. But how do you guys feel? Are you looking to do larger work, or you're kind of like, this is my thing. We just want to do our movies. You know what I mean? The way we want to do them.
Well, that you bring a really interesting point, because with Temple of Joy, a lot of the actors we want to use in the film are actually SAG people now. They've become SAG. So I think even on the last interview, we spoke about some issues with SAG and whether or not they can do it, someone who's SAG or not. And there's a form that could be done, that could be filed, that would not hurt them. So if they worked on a non-union film, but the consensus from that side of the fence is saying, we can't be in your film unless it's SAG.
Yeah.
And there are people, because there were some challenges and some people, it gets a little tense. And now in the Florida scene, where a lot of production has come down, you've had Glades, you've had Burn Notice, you've had a lot of films being shot there in 2013, as well as 2012. It's created this expectation. Are we going to make an ultra low budget SAG? If it comes down to it and we're able to raise enough money for it, of course I'll do it. Of course we will do it. Why not? Because it'll allow us to have access to people comfortably that'll come on board and be in a film. We have to pay these people anyway. We just would have to pay them an extra $20 a day out of $100, so it's $120 a day, and it would work for that. And we're not asking people to hang around for 12, 15-hour days. That's not what we're about. We've always been about 8 hours or less, and we've always been the type to feed people and give them breaks, because we need to eat. And I'm not going to sit there and starve and expect somebody else to starve and not perform well, because it will reflect in your production.
Right. Yeah.
So to sum that up, we are shooting this December. We're going to shoot a very, very short scene, but to show that, look, we're not stopping this. This film is going to be made one way or the other. It's going to be made.
Is this your big follow? Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Is this your big follow-up to Frozen Moon, you feel like, or Planet X?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's not a sequel in a sense. It's our next film, but it's different. It's a different universe and approach.
Okay.
But
you were going to say something. I think the question was about your where you want to go, or are you happy where you are?
I think we have a lot of options, and we are budget constrained as always. There's certain things you can and cannot do with the resources we have.
Right.
And actually, that's a lot of what we're trying to hash out. That's what, as Troy was just saying, who we can get. There's nothing wrong with evolving and making use of what you have in the way of resources, we have money and actors and such, and that's what we're trying to do. We always look for new actors. We already know a number of people that have done extremely well in our films, and
many who we will bring back,
and we bring back. So I think we just go with our own feeling, what we want to do, and in our heart, if that's not too corny as far as what we'd like to do, what we have resources to do, and make a film with the tools we have.
That's great. I know you guys got to catch a plane fairly soon.
Yes. I think I have about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, but definitely we want to talk about anything you guys want to talk about.
Well, the last thing we definitely want to talk about is with the MICFI Festival, the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival, and we've come up with a few films that are going to be in the festival, and we'd like to announce some of them today.
Oh, great!
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
awesome.
Yes.
So to start off, there's a film by this is a Florida-made film, which there is a Florida category, and we've been receiving some really nice Florida-made films. Al Locher, film called So Dark. If you know anything about vampires, this is produced very well.
Locally in the Miami area.
Yeah, So Dark, which is with Carrie Mileto. She's one of the cast in the film. Also, Al Locher himself is in the film. And let me pull up here. I've got a little list. We have Jeremy Palco, Todd Bruno, Julie Kendall, who's a local Florida favorite. That movie Behind the Dome. The dome came over the city.
Oh, the
And kept us-
CBS miniseries?
Yeah,
that miniseries.
yeah,
Julie
yeah.
Kendall was in that.
Oh, really?
Laurel Levy, who's always been a fan
Yeah, we've
of
known her a
ours
while.
in a number of our films, who's also, we hope, going to be able to be in Temple of Joy with us. As well as you were going to mention, what's the next film?
Well, Dust of War.
Dust of War
It's a feature-length film.
by Andrew Neitlinger. Neitlinger.
Okay. Yes, and I noticed in it that it features two actors that are well known from the past, from the 80s. There's Gary Graham, who he was in I remember him most he was in the television version of Alien Nation as the lead.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers a film, I love Robot Jocks. He was the lead.
I fucking love Robot Jocks.
He was the lead. He's in this film. It's a post-apocalyptic style film. Tony Todd, who played Candyman,
Candyman.
is also
These are
in
my
it.
people, man. The B-movie folks. I love it.
It's exceptional. They're bringing back two actors from 80s and 90s, and it's a great film. So we definitely want to include that one as a feature length.
That's awesome. What's that called again?
That's called Dust of War.
Dust
Yeah,
of
Dust of
War.
War.
And
Dust
that's
of
is that a Florida state premiere there, or
I'm not sure about it. It might be. It's a South Dakota production.
I believe it.
It's a South Dakota
I believe it was made there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was made in South
So this
Dakota.
may be
maybe Florida premiere? Maybe.
But I think it's a Florida premiere.
oh, that's great.
I think it's a
that's
Florida
really
premiere.
cool.
But with So Dark, we're really looking forward to that one. That's also received a lot of awards. I can't leave Mr. Will Jackson out as well. He's a real popular guy in the area. And the third film is called Jake's Road. Jake's Road is a thriller, like a thriller suspense film, and that stars a guy named Eric Roberts.
Eric
Yeah,
Roberts.
Dude, that's the best.
Yeah,
Eric Roberts.
And,
That guy's like my hero.
yeah,
You guys
and
just
like-
named off like
Yeah.
3 or 4 like.
yeah, it's a real top.
I
top
love those
folks.
guys.
It's
Man.
great to see these folks come back in these independent films. It's actually
Yeah, Mike Mayhall is the director for that film, and when this came in, Ed was like, "Troy, look what just came in." We checked it out. Oh wow, so it's a real nice film, and I think it would make a nice addition to the festival. And the last film that we'll talk about today, the last film, because there will be many, many more. This is not a simple thing, but we'll talk about this film called Kill Shelter.
short
Kill
film.
Shelter. It's a short film by the director is Paul Nicolaus and produced by Viet Hun out of California. And that's a nice sci-fi.
Yeah,
Really? I like the name.
Short
Cool name,
film,
Kill Shelter.
sci-fi, dystopian, with aliens. It was one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
it's
the whole genre, very well filmed,
Very
and
well
choreographed.
I mean, for me, the idea of being able to go to a festival and like every movie is like genre, either sci-fi or fantasy or like that is like one of the coolest things. Like I think this thing's gonna be huge. I just I don't know. There's tons of people out there, like.
Well, just know that we have cosplay. Cosplay is involved. Steampunk. We're looking for
Oh, yeah?
lots of steampunk.
Oh, nice.
And if you even go to the website, you'll see some of the steampunk photos. We've been posting those out on the web, and there are thousands of views in a week for these. So it's sort of like the landing party Star Trek versus Planet Privy. What is it, Privy?
Prithvi, I think.
Prithvi, steampunk. So the landing party actually meets these steampunk
So
people.
we have our own little
cool.
subplot. To
Yeah,
the,
and some biomechanical horror tentacle thing attacks the landing party. You'll see that video. It'll come out. Actually, we'll show it to you tonight.
Oh,
We'll
sweet.
show you a little bit of that, which is coming out.
Very cool.
It's going to be some parties. It's celebration of fantastic film. And we feel that's what South Florida needs. I think it'll fit in just nicely. I think that people will love it. I think folks will show up in cosplay to our parties. It will be a great time. Eric and myself, we will all be in cosplay for different nights. And this is January 17th to the 19th in Miami, which Miami is not a bad place to be in January.
It's happening. Yeah, that's great.
at the Hyatt Hotel.
Yes, the Hyatt Regency. Downtown Miami.
Downtown.
Beautiful venue.
Yeah, wow. Good deal. So I don't know. What do you think? Any final thoughts or you're good?
Well, thanks so much for having us on the show
Yeah,
here.
thanks a lot, yeah. Appreciate it,
It
Thomas.
was a real treat being here in my hometown of New York, being from Hollis, Queens.
That's great. Are you so you're originally from Queens? You're wait, who else? Are you from?
I'm from Chicago originally.
Chicago?
Actually, it's been 10 years ago when I attended the film festival at Brooklyn Underground.
Yeah.
Was actually the first time I'd really visited.
Yeah, first time
New
in
York.
Yeah.
And I've been here 5 times.
Oh, wow.
I think.
And Miles, you've been here for 15 years.
16, yeah.
16 years?
I moved here. I grew up in Massachusetts,
Oh,
in the
nice.
country,
Oh, cool.
but I moved here to go to went to Pratt Institute Art School in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Mass, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay. It's north of Worcester.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm from Connecticut. I mean, that Worcester is just like
No,
where we go to
I always have to
concerts, you know?
kind of like slowly zoom in.
Oh yeah.
I'll say if people don't know, I'm like, it's near Boston. It's a little town called Pepperell, Massachusetts. It's
Okay.
near a small city called Fitchburg. It's near Nashua, New Hampshire.
Okay.
I'm the same way. I'm from Kentucky, and I'm like from a really small town. So I have to be like, I'm close to Nashville, and I'm sort of in between Nashville and Louisville. You've heard of those towns. My town's somewhere in between.
But then
So, yeah.
once in a while, you get someone who's like, "Oh yeah, my grandma."
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to leave it open,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you don't want to be.
Yeah, I lived in New York for quite a long time before I left. I'm actually a product of York College.
Oh, nice.
I did my degree, my BS in geology at York College.
Cool. Very
And
cool.
then I moved to North Carolina. That's where I went to Chapel Hill for my master's. And then I'm doing my PhD at Florida Atlantic
Oh, nice.
University. So
Ooh, that's for the
yeah,
PhD.
I'm looking for trouble. Just getting beaten up, man.
I'm on his committee, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Honestly, I'm on his committee there.
Yeah.
I've been in Miami since 1981. I came down because my 2 brothers were already in Miami. So I've been in Miami a long time, but I did grow up in Chicago. And I went to University of Miami. I did a bunch of degrees there, bachelor's, master's, doctorate at UM.
Oh, wow.
And stayed in the area because it's nice and warm.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
jealous.
And UM is a great place to make a movie.
Yeah.
That's where we made Longevity at University of Miami.
Yeah, nobody bothered us
Nobody bothered.
running around.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, for my final question before we
absolutely, yeah.
before we leave.
Yes, Cam.
So I'm a big Hollywood exec. I got like $200 million to spare, and I come to you guys and I'm like, any sci-fi property you want to tackle, you name it, you can do it. What would be your answer?
If you give us the time, we'll generate 20 films for you.
Nice.
Wait, when you say property, you mean an existing?
An existing property. Like, it could be a famous work. It could be a movie franchise that's already a TV series.
So like a remake, like J.J.
Maybe
Abrams.
some could be many things. Maybe something from H.G. Wells.
Nice. It's been a long time since anybody's done, I think, anything with H.G. Wells. It's been,
I'd go real bold, and it'd be awesome to do a live action Robotech.
Robotech.
Robotech. series.
I'd like that too.
Yeah, that's
That
never
would be
been
awesome.
done, right? I mean,
No,
that's
it hasn't been done
yeah.
yet. That has not been done yet. They've done a what is that? Captain Harlock. They've done some Captain Harlock. They did a remake of that, and there's a remake of Star Blazers. Yeah, but
But no, yeah, no,
Not
appreciate
Robotech.
it. That's really cool. All right, you guys. I know I'm getting the signal. You guys got to catch a plane, actually.
There's a guy waiting outside, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really? Well, hey,
that's
Troy, Eric, Miles, thanks very much. Awesome to meet you guys in
Yeah,
person. It was
yeah.
really
Thank you so
great.
much.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much for
having
coming, and we'll talk to you soon.
cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.